Welcome to Health U. Did you know that your brain might currently contain microplastics equivalent to the weight of a plastic spoon? A groundbreaking study published in Nature Medicine in 2025 has shocked the global scientific community, as researchers have proven for the first time that human brains are accumulating massive amounts of microplastics, with concentrations rising rapidly. This study employed the most advanced gas chromatography mass spectrometry analysis to examine brain tissue from hundreds of body donors, and the results are alarming. Researchers found that each gram of brain tissue contains an average of 4,800 micrograms of microplastics, equivalent to 0.48% of the total brain weight. In practical terms, the average human brain has accumulated plastic equivalent to the weight of a plastic spoon. The temporal trend is even more frightening. From 2016 to 2024, in just 8 years, microplastic concentrations in human brains skyrocketed by 50%. If this trend continues at the current rate, the plastic content in our brains could double again by 2030. The research team discovered that plastic concentrations in brain tissue are 7 to 30 times higher than in the liver and kidneys. Why has the brain become the primary accumulation site for microplastics? It turns out that microplastics can breach what we previously thought was the impenetrable blood-brain barrier. Scientists previously believed that only nanoscale particles could cross the blood-brain barrier, but the latest research shows that even larger microplastics over 1 micrometer can penetrate directly. Once these microplastics enter the brain, they particularly favor accumulating in brain fat cells and the myelin sheath. The myelin sheath is a crucial structure that wraps around nerve fibers, responsible for rapid neural signal transmission. When microplastics accumulate here, they likely interfere with normal nervous system function. The most concerning data comes from dementia patients. The study found that the brains of Alzheimer's disease and other dementia patients contain 3 to 5 times higher concentrations of microplastics than normal individuals. This finding provides disturbing evidence for the connection between plastic pollution and neurodegenerative diseases. The toxic mechanisms of microplastics on the brain operate on 3 levels. First is oxidative stress. Microplastics induce cells to produce massive amounts of free radicals, leading to neuronal damage and DNA fragmentation. Second is chronic inflammation. The brain's immune cells treat microplastics as foreign invaders, triggering persistent inflammatory responses that are a common feature of many neurodegenerative diseases. Third is neurotransmitter interference. Research published in The Plastic Brain, Neurotoxicity of Micro and Nanoplastics, shows that microplastics inhibit acetylcholinesterase activity, alter neurotransmitter concentrations, and cause cognitive and behavioral changes. But the brain is just the tip of the iceberg. Another 2024 study in the New England Journal of Medicine first proved the direct link between microplastics and cardiovascular disease. The research tracked thousands of patients and found that those with microplastics in their carotid artery plaques had significantly increased risks of heart attack, stroke, or death. How do microplastics attack our cardiovascular system? Research reveals 4 major mechanisms: direct vascular endothelial cell damage, abnormal blood coagulation function, chronic inflammatory response, and myocardial fibrosis. These mechanisms interact to create a perfect cardiovascular disease storm. Findings in reproductive health are equally shocking. A study in Frontiers in Endocrinology found that the detection rate of microplastics in placentas reached 100% in patients with pregnancy complications, compared to only 13% in normal pregnancies. More severely, the higher the concentration of microplastics in maternal blood, the lower the newborn's weight, length, head circumference, and APGAR scores. The impact on female reproductive systems is comprehensive. Research found that women exposed to microplastics experience enlarged ovaries, but fewer follicles, decreased embryo production capacity, and reduced pregnancy rates. The molecular mechanism involves NLRP3 and caspase pathways, inducing apoptosis and pyroptosis of follicular cells. How much plastic do we consume daily? The answer might exceed your imagination. According to the latest pollution data, bottled water contains an average of 240,000 plastic particles per liter, with 90% being nanoscale ultrafine particles. Seafood contamination rates reach 98.9%, and even salt, which we consider relatively safe, shows the highest contamination levels in sea salt. These microplastics aren't just harmless foreign objects. They act like Trojan horses, appearing harmless on the surface while actually carrying various toxic chemicals and bacterial pathogens. When these harmful substances are released in our bodies, it's like detonating chemical bombs inside us. More terrifyingly, the scale of plastic pollution continues to expand rapidly. Since 1950, global plastic production has increased 230-fold, and it's projected to triple again by 2060. Single-use plastics account for 35 to 40% of current production and are the fastest-growing category. The Minderoo Monaco Commission on Plastics and Human Health 2023 report estimates that plastic pollution causes global health costs of $250 billion. In the United States alone, just 3 major plastic chemicals cause $920 billion in health losses. Workers in the plastic industry face even higher risks. Statistics CS show significantly elevated rates of leukemia, lymphoma, brain cancer, and breast cancer. This occupational exposure data provides important evidence for plastic's carcinogenic properties. Current research still has many gaps. We need more long-term longitudinal studies to understand health consequences, standardized detection methods, dose-response relationships for different particle sizes, and evaluation of various intervention strategies' effectiveness. Despite ongoing research, existing evidence is already clear. Microplastic pollution is an emerging global health crisis. We cannot wait for more studies. We must act immediately.